Direct News TV. July 26, 2023. Russia-Ukraine updates. Kyiv says responsible for Crimea bridge blast. Ukraine counteroffensive is moving, US says while pledging support. Ukraine's counteroffensive is not a stalemate even if it is not progressing fast enough, White House National Security spokesman John Kirby has told reporters. Kirby made the remarks when asked about the pace of Ukraine's counteroffensive in a press briefing. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky himself has said that it's not progressing as fast as he would like and they're not moving as far every day as they would like. The United States is not going to take a position on that, Kirby said. He added, that said they are moving, it's not a stalemate. They're not just frozen. The Ukrainians are moving. Russian aircraft flew dangerously close to U.S. drone over Syria, says White House. A Russian aircraft flew dangerously close to a U.S. drone over Syria earlier this week in violation of established protocols and international norms, the White House has said. We have seen the early reports of a second Russian fighter aircraft this week, flying dangerously close to our drone on a defeat ISIS mission, White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters in a press briefing. The U.S. military said on Tuesday that the Russian fighter jet hit the U.S. drone with a flare and severely damaged its propeller over Syria. NATO says it's boosting Black Sea surveillance, condemns Russian grain deal exit. NATO has said it is stepping up surveillance of the Black Sea region as it condemned Russia's exit from a deal assuring the safe passage of ships carrying Ukrainian grain. The announcement came after a meeting of the NATO-Ukraine Council, a body established earlier this month to coordinate cooperation between the Western Military Alliance and Kyiv. Allies and Ukraine strongly condemned Russia's decision to withdraw from the Black Sea grain deal and its deliberate attempts to stop Ukraine's agricultural exports on which hundreds of millions of people worldwide depend, NATO said in a statement. NATO and allies are stepping up surveillance and reconnaissance in the Black Sea region, including with maritime patrol aircraft and drones, the statement said. Russia and Belarus omitted from Paris Olympics invitees. International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach has formally invited 203 countries, but not Russia and Belarus, to participate in the Paris Olympics that begin in a year's time. The IOC has however left the door open for Russian and Belarusian athletes to compete as neutrals in the 2024 Summer Games without their teams competing. Bach had said in mid-July that neither Russia nor its ally in the invasion of Ukraine, Belarus, would be invited as a team. Russian missile strikes attacked 3 Ukrainian regions, says Air Force. Russia has attacked the Ukrainian regions of Kyiv, Khmelnytsky and Kirovohrad with missiles, Ukraine's Air Force spokesman said in televised comments after air raid sirens were sounded across the country. We have registered high-speed targets, probably also ballistic missiles, the enemy is using different weapons types, Yuri Yanat said. Ukrainian Security Service claims responsibility for Crimean bridge blast in October. Ukraine's domestic intelligence agency has claimed responsibility for a sabotage operation that badly damaged the Russian-made bridge linking occupied Crimea with Russia in October. Vasyl Malyuk, head of the Security Service of Ukraine, said his agency was behind the attack in comments shown on television as he presented a commemorative postage stamp marking wartime Special Forces operations. There were many different operations, special operations. We'll be able to speak about some of them publicly and aloud after the victory. We will not talk at all about others, Malyuk said. It is one of our actions, namely the destruction of the Crimean bridge on October 8 last year. An explosion also hit the bridge on July 17, killing 2 people. Russia says repelled major Ukraine attack in south. The Russian army has said it had repelled a Ukrainian attack involving several hundred soldiers near the town of Orikhiv in the south, one of the areas where Kyiv has been carrying out its counteroffensive. On the morning of July 26, the enemy resumed intensive offensive operations near Orikhiv, Russia's defense ministry said in a statement. It added that Ukraine conducted a massive attack by the forces of 3 battalions reinforced by tanks. All attacks of the armed force of Ukraine were repelled. Positions were held, the ministry said. NATO-Ukraine Council addresses Black Sea situation. The NATO-Ukraine Council, which was set up at the Military Alliance's annual summit in Vilnius this month, has met to discuss the situation in the Black Sea after Russia terminated the UN and Turkey-brokered grain shipments deal. According to a statement released by the Council, NATO and Ukraine strongly condemned Russia's decision to withdraw from the Black Sea grain deal and its deliberate attempts to stop Ukraine's agricultural exports on which hundreds of millions of people worldwide depend. It also condemned Russia's recent missile attacks and noted that the navigation warnings the Kremlin issued for the Black Sea in an area that is within Bulgaria's exclusive economic zone has created new risks for miscalculation and escalation as well as serious impediments to freedom of navigation. Russia bears full responsibility for its dangerous and escalatory actions in the Black Sea region. Russia must stop weaponizing hunger and threatening the world's most vulnerable people with food instability. Russia's actions also pose substantial risks to the stability of the Black Sea region, which is of strategic importance to NATO, NATO's Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg said, adding that members of the alliance are stepping up to support Ukraine. Estonia pushes for ban of Russian and Belarusian athletes from international sporting events. Estonia's Prime Minister Kaja Kallas has said Russian and Belarusian athletes should be banned from all international sporting events while Russia's aggression in Ukraine continues. Important to keep ban on Russian and Belarusian athletes from international sports events, not even under the pretext of a neutral flag at #Paris 2024, she said in a tweet. U.S. seeks to build a more energy-resilient grid for Ukraine. Bridget A. Brink, the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, has met Ukrainian Energy Minister German Galushchenko. We look forward to exploring all options for building a more resilient energy grid, including by taking steps to enable private investment and through U.S. support, she said in a tweet. Ukraine allocates $1 billion for drone production. Ukraine's Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal says the government has invested 40 billion hryvnia, $1.08 billion, for drone production. War presents new challenges every day. One of the keys is military technology. We must be one step ahead of the enemy and protect each of our warriors. Drones provide such opportunities, he said in a statement. Ukraine's First Lady visits Vinnytsia. Alina Zelenska, Ukraine's First Lady, has visited Vinnytsia to offer her condolences after 29 people were killed in the city by Russian shelling this month. Among the memorials to 29 victims, a small dove and a sakura of 4-year-old Liza who I knew personally. Like every person killed by RU aggression, she is forever in our hearts, the First Lady said in a tweet. Ukraine says its troops continue to deter Russian troops' advances. Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar says that Kyiv's troops have continued to deter the advance of Russian troops in the Kupian and Lyman areas of eastern Ukraine. In the Bakhmut direction, our troops continue to successfully conduct offensive actions on the southern flank around the city of Bakhmut, she said in a statement on the Telegram messaging app. The enemy is trying to regain lost positions, in particular, the northeastern Robotyne of the Zaporizhia region. But have been unsuccessful, she added. Turkey's Fidan and China's Wang discuss Ukraine's situation. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan and his newly appointed Chinese counterpart Wang Yi discussed the latest situation in Ukraine among other issues in talks in Ankara on Wednesday, the Reuters news agency said, citing a Turkish Foreign Ministry source. China appointed veteran diplomat Wang as its new foreign minister on Tuesday, removing former rising star Qin Gang after a 1-month absence from duties barely half a year into the job. Zelensky says Russia is dismantling from history. Zelensky says Ukraine has a future but Russia is dismantling from history. Despite any attempts to break our state and our people, we clearly know that Ukraine has a future because we are defending humanity. Russia, on the other hand, is bringing only one thing closer with its terror, its dismantling from history, he said in a tweet. EU agrees to impose restrictive measures against Belarus. The EU has agreed to adopt restrictive measures against Belarus over its involvement in Russia's conflict with Ukraine, the Spanish presidency of the bloc says. Today, EU ambassadors agreed on adopting restrictive measures in view of the situation in Belarus and the involvement of Belarus in the Russian aggression, against Ukraine. The measures include listings of individuals and entities, it said in a post on Twitter. My name is Kingsley. Please like, share, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be the first to be notified whenever we post. You won't regret it.